So in October of 2001, we were fast at work in trying to design a program that we thought would be an attractive retail program that was an anchored program running from East-West Highway on the south to Toledo on the north that would give energy to the street between Metros 1, 2, 3, and 4. We went off to the ICSC convention, the International Council of Shopping Centers, which meets every May. In fact, it will be meeting in 10 days from now. Went to Las Vegas with our plans, and we found excellent interest by stores that wished to locate here. We came back from that conference, met with Herschel, and we said, we're ready to go. And he said, that's great, I'd like you to lease it for me. And we said, well, we don't do that. We're developers and owners. We would like to buy the retail opportunity or master lease it or joint venture it. And he said, I'm sorry, I would like to do it on my own. We wished each other well. This was in July of 2002, and we went our separate ways. He retained some other leasing services. They designed a program, and they began the construction some years later to create the theater deal, which was the anchor to their project, which is now Regal Royale, and a series of restaurants. Unfortunately, they didn't do two things that we thought were fundamentally important. One, to retain an aperture between the theater and Prince George's Plaza, renamed the Mall at Prince George's. And number two, and most importantly, develop a retail presence along East-West Highway on Parcel S, the 3.5 acres that we're on, and Parcel N, the 2.5 acres now. And I'd like to pause for a moment to welcome Rashun Baker. Rashun, I'm just giving a little history of how we got here and what's happened over the last 60 years. Unfortunately, because there was no retail presence on East-West Highway, and because there was never a relationship to the mall, and because the student housing, which was going to go north of Toledo, became a tower in the middle of the project, this project suffered. The tower opened in 2006, the theater opened in 2007. Safeway was interested in the project and actually was part of a plan to be present at this location, and then 2008 came. The world went into hiatus in terms of real estate development, and lo and behold, nothing was happening. In 2009, 10, and 11, we were contacted again to become involved here, but never could quite fashion a deal either with UTC or with some of the others that were gaining control of pieces of the property as it went under different levels of stress, I should say. In 2012, July, I received a call from Joe Don Galley. And Joe of the Bernstein Companies asked whether we might be interested in joining them because they had taken control through a contract of the parking, 1,500 car parking space that's just east of the theater, and northeast of the theater, east of Metro 4, and of this Parcel S. The Bernstein Company has an impeccable reputation. We were delighted to become involved with them, and we fashioned a joint venture in the summer of 2012, saying to them that we needed to make several stops along the way to make sure that this was a feasible project. We made 4 stops. The first stop was to Safeway. We've enjoyed a wonderful relationship with Safeway for many years, and Tim Baker is here, and Tim is the head of real estate for Safeway, and we'll talk a little bit about our relationship and what happened here, but we wanted to make sure that Safeway really wanted to be here at University Town Center, which was consistent with what Safeway is doing throughout metropolitan Washington. They are most interested in high-density urban locations, either locations that they presently own that need to be redone, with or without residential or office components attached thereto, or as freestanding stores as part of a good commercial complex. Tim was most encouraging about the possibility of doing a project here, but he said scrap the old plan, which had 7- and 11-story residential towers above the Safeway store and with subterranean parking that really didn't work. We then went to stop number 2, the offices of Will Campos. Will, who will also address you in just a minute, is the district council person for District 2. This is his district. I'll never forget walking in with Steve Proctor to Will's office and saying, Will, we think we can deliver a Safeway store. Will you be supportive of that? I guess the best word was disbelieving. He said, many people have said that. Why are you different than others? I said, well, we have a great relationship with Safeway. We think we can create a plan that works. And Safeway said the magic words to us, which were, We want to be there as soon as you can deliver it. Magic to Mr. Campos's ears. He said, whatever I can do, I'm all in. Stop number 3. This is the city of Hyattsville. We went to visit Mayor Mark Tartaro. Mark and Jim Chandler of the city were there, and we had a wonderful meeting. They said, by all means, we would love to do something that resuscitates America Boulevard, Main Street, and University Town Center. Just make sure it's of great quality, make sure that it has sustainable architecture, and make it a good urban piece of work. We said, fine, we'll be happy to do that. We took us to step number 4, or station number 4, the offices of Rashearn Baker and his executive team at Prince George's County. We've done a lot of work at Prince George's County. It's been a wonderful place for us to do business. And when we went into Rashearn's office and then subsequently met with Gwen McCall and with David Iannucci and with Tom Himmler, all were most encouraging. And they said, by all means, we want this project to happen. Let us know what we can do to help. We turned the corner into 2013, and pardon my ramble, but there's a lot to say in a short period of time. And in 2013, we prepared a new development plan, a simplified plan, one that could be delivered quickly, that would bring excellent quality retail development to Prince George's County in general, Hyattsville, and University Town Center in particular. When we put that plan together, we realized that we needed a little help. We didn't have a vertical component because the residential did not make sense for us to do at the time. We knew we had to do subterranean parking, and we knew that we had a fairly sporty land price, and we needed to figure out how we could have the county and the city come together and help us. As we began to process an amended detailed site plan, which we did through the course of 2013, we worked very closely with Gwen McCall and her Economic Development Incentive Fund. We worked very closely with Mayor Tartaro and his council in terms of the city of Hyattsville. And we had unbelievable cooperation. And Rashearn, I want to say to you, unbelievable cooperation from the county and all of its levels to take an amended site plan through the process with the great support of folks in the planning department, Susan LaRousse, and many other people, with Betty Hewlett at the planning board. And we received our amended DSP in October of 2013. We cobbled together our financial aid project, which involved a $2 million EDIF loan, a $1.1 million pilot program, and a $400,000 tax rebate program from the city of Hyattsville, combining those for a $3.5 million public assistance program, an approved detailed site plan, and that gave us the incentive as we turned the corner into 2014 to begin our final construction drawings, which leads us to where we are today. We are delighted to be here today. We have had enormous cooperation from all levels of county government and city government. We are delighted to be working with Miranda Jackson again, who we worked with when we did the Brandywine project, where we had, in that case too, which was a TIF program, the LMBE requirement, which we are more than pleased to work with. And she's been a wonderful assistant to us in that regard. And we've had a great development team led by Steve Proctor and Matt Tedesco and MVNA and Bowler Engineering and Lenhart and a whole series of other folks. And I must mention too, obviously, our banking relationship with Ben Adams and Bank of America, who is providing the construction financing for this project, so that we can launch our project formally with not a ceremonial toss, but a real toss in terms of the groundbreaking later this month, at the end of this month. Our effort will be to deliver the project so that Safeway will open its store on or before Labor Day 2015, and with the rest of the components of the project being opened within the next 30 to 45 days thereafter. The project, and this will be my final rattle out of the box, and then I'll turn it over to those that will speak more eloquently, is that we will have a 54,000 square foot Safeway store as the centerpiece of our project. The project combines to 82,000 square feet. At the southeast corner of the project, at East West Highway and Democracy, as it's called, we have a 2-story building, 4,500 square feet per floor, the lower level of which is unleashed by Petco, a signed lease. You might want to know that unleashed by Petco and an upscale nail salon, which we now have nail tricks going into the America Boulevard side, is the same combination of uses that Safeway has in their social Safeway store in Upper Georgetown. It's exactly the same program. the same quality that Safeway and Petco and the nail salon we're using in Georgetown is that which we're delivering here in Prince George's County at UTC. In addition, we have an 18,000-foot building or 19,000-foot building, again 2 stories on America Boulevard, the upper level of which is 10,000 square feet, which we are very close to signing a deal with a major professional office. We'll be hopefully able to announce that right after the ICSC show, and that will leave us with only a couple of stores left to lease. Above the Unleashed by Petco, Phoenix Salon Suites, which is a very upscale spa salon boutique, will take the entire 4,500 square feet there. The first level parking has 77 spaces. The second level above the entire complex, 223 spaces, combining for 300 parking spaces. That's a mouthful. Again, I appreciate your bearing with me as I've described not only the history but the ingredients of the project. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce Rashern Baker, the County Executive of Prince George's County.
And I know that we have a number of speakers, and I will try not to be long, but you know, I have to say, I'd start off every day saying it's a great day in Prince George's County. And it truly is a great day in Prince George's County today. I started the morning at Thomas Stone Elementary School with some of our young people in Prince George's County and looking at the future in their eyes. And then to come here to this groundbreaking just shows the dramatic changes and progress we're making in this county. I want to thank a couple of people because they've really made it possible. Certainly Gwen McCall and her staff are doing a great job. We can give Gwen another round of applause. And David Iannucci, I didn't see, where's David? Right here. David, right here. David Iannucci, terrific vision and helping us move economic development forward. If we can give him a round of applause. And you know, certainly we could not do this without the guy who holds the purse strings in Prince George's County, who I've been trying to loosen up, you know, over these last 3.5 years. And Howard, you like, you know, like you and Safeway to know, you know, very few things does he say yes to, but this is one of those, and we certainly couldn't do any of this without his help, without his pushing us, and if we can give Tom Himmler, our DCA, a round of applause. We have, I know Councilmember Campos is going to speak, but we have, and I'm sure they've been introduced, but they are great partners of mine. One is my senator, so I better introduce him or he might not help me out. My Senator Victor Ramirez, we can give him a round of applause. And certainly someone who represents, you know, who is my delegate, but more importantly as county executive, the things and progress you've seen Prince George's County make over these last 3.5 years could not have been possible without her leadership and without her help. I've asked her to help us in Annapolis on critical and difficult issues. In fact, only critical and difficult issues. I left the easy stuff to other people. But certainly she's somebody who is a tremendous leader, and we couldn't have made this possible without Jolene Ivey, the chair of our delegation. I won't say anything about Will Campos. He's a difficult person to work with. He has no vision. No, Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you for the work you've done. If we can give the mayor a round of applause. Hyattsville is a great place. Mr. Mayor, if it had not been for what you're doing in Hyattsville, we wouldn't be standing here today. Really. I mean, that right there is the gateway. That was the experiment. Could we create the Arts District in Hyattsville, and could that spread throughout? If that had failed, we wouldn't have this opportunity. But because of your work and leadership and stewardship in Hyattsville, we're standing here today. Certainly Will Campos will come. I couldn't have a better friend. As a new county executive, needing help on the second floor, needing to understand the legislative process at the local level, at the council level, I needed somebody who was a friendly ear and who was going to give honest criticism without criticizing me in public, and allow me to make some mistakes and our team to make mistakes, but be there to help pick us up and really have the vision. Because when I was like everybody else, when they said they could get Safeway here, I was like, oh, you're kidding me. That ain't going to happen. People said they were going to do it. It's not going to happen. but Will Campos not only saw the vision of getting Safeway here, but the whole development around this area, making this one of the most attractive spots in Prince George's County and in the Washington region. We can give Councilmember Will Campos a round of applause, please. And I'll end with this. We, a couple of weeks ago, actually I'll end with two things. And David Iannucci and Tom and Aubrey Thager, who I definitely should recognize. Aubrey Thager, who is our acting DCAO for Economic Development and Infrastructure, and more importantly, one of the visionaries that helped this administration move forward when we were talking about transit-oriented development. If we can give Aubrey Thager a round of applause. Because the reason I'm going to close with two things is, Aubrey and David know, we were going to lose jobs over here. They were going to West Virginia. No offense, Tom, to West Virginia. It's a great place. You know, but I don't want my resources going to West Virginia. But we were going to lose those jobs. And these two gentlemen, along with Senator Mikulski, came in here and made me see it. First of all, when I first got in office, they made me do a tour here, even before we found out we were going to lose those jobs. And we came here with Senator Mikulski and Congresswoman Edwards, and we fought to keep the jobs here. Part of what allowed us to do that was, for the first time, what the workers said to us in that building was, you know, when they moved us here from downtown D.C., we came kicking and screaming. We didn't want to come out here into no man's land, to be honest. And finally, we start to see it rising out. We start to see everything that we want, and now they want to take us and move us to West Virginia. This is the happening place. This is the place to be. We don't want to leave now. That voice from the workers is what allowed Senator Mikulski to go in and say, you know what, this really is the place where people are not only working, but they're now starting to buy houses in this area. So Safeway coming here right next to that building says everything that we promised them when we told them we were going to keep them here is coming true. And so I want to say that it is your work, it is your commitment, it is, you know, the vision that you have that we sold to the workers and we sold to Senator Mikulski, and now it's coming to fruition. So, and the last thing I'll end on is our dedication to transit-oriented development. We're going to have flagships, and the flagships is not just what's going on at National Harbor. The flagship is not just what's going on at Largo with the hospital. But the true flagship of Prince George's County and our economic development in the immediate future is what's going on right here in Prince George's Plaza, the metro there. Because this is where we're going to tour and bring people in and let them see the new Prince George's County. As I like to say, the renaissance of Prince George's County. It's going to be here, but a critical component was showing people that we could get Safeway to build the type of stores that we see in D.C. So my son is right over there, Rashard Baker, so he doesn't go spend his money in D.C., no offense to Mayor Gray, but spends it right here. And so this is truly a great day for us in Prince George's County. Thank you very much.
Folks, this is my last year in office as a county council member, so I will be long. No, seriously, folks, this is amazing. It really is. I have to tell you this story because I have to mention our former delegate, Justin Ross. If we could give him a round of applause, too, because he's here. I have to tell you this story because it does involve him, and it's about what we're seeing here today. 2 days before the election, when I first ran for office, this is in 2004, we're talking about September 12th, 2004, almost 10 years ago, there was an article on the Sunday newspaper, a very local newspaper in the area, you may have read it before, talking about the different candidates that are running for office. One of the things that I talked about as far as my platform was concerned was bringing smart economic growth to the area. Because of the fact of the matter that we in Prince George's County, unfortunately, do not have the commercial tax revenue to compensate the bleeding of property taxes that we do to our residents on a yearly basis. Our residents have to go to other parts of the county, either to DC or I should say other parts of the state, Anne Arundel County, Montgomery County, whether it's to go to Nordstrom's, whether it's to go to anywhere else that we may not have here. So what I was talking about is basically bringing much needed amenities to our county, bringing much needed jobs to Prince George's County. The sentence that was quoted, however, was not what I just told you. The sentence said that I needed to be in contact with developers in order to bring the county forward. Justin Ross, this is on a Sunday, and rightly so, before I got to church, was on the phone with me, and he said, "You blew it! You blew it! you lost. This might have cost you the election. You never say developers. You never say developers. You remember that, Justin?"
Nope.
Great answer. But you know what? I mean, and he was right to have been concerned, because in many instances, in many areas, unfortunately, there isn't smart growth. There's just growth, and there's displacement, and there's people that can't afford to stay in places anymore and have to move. There's the gentrification. There's all kinds of things that, in many instances, the community is not taking into consideration. But that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about this right here. Our empty parking spaces, our empty parking lots, our blight, our places that have been abandoned for years, if not decades at a time, that we need to revitalize. I was talking about bringing the first movie theater to the area in the longest time. Victor Ramirez and I, whenever we had to go to the movies, it was always at Beltway Plaza for an entire generation, because we didn't have anything local here. Route 1 development, if you can see the Arts District growing, that's what we were talking about. That's what I was talking about. This right here is monumental, folks. This is one of the last projects that I'll be able to work on, and I could not have done it, quite frankly, if it was not for the county executive's vision in the $50 million that he invested into our county in the EDIF fund. So please give him a round of applause, because that, quite frankly, my drive to make this happen would not have happened if we didn't have the money. I mean, it's literally that simple. So this is incredible. We are bringing and doing great things in District 2. We are bringing and doing great things in Hyattsville. We really are. We are forming private and public partnerships with entities, organizations, companies that can bring much needed amenities, those much needed jobs into Prince George's County. That's what we're talking about. $5 million alone on public funding, including the $3 million, actually close to $6 million now that I think about it, including the $3 million, whether it's in tax credits or loans, here for this project alone. Those are the things that we're talking about, to help the investors, to incentivize people to bring that quality development to Prince George's County that will keep our money here in Prince George's County. It will keep us from going to anywhere else, for that matter, for DC or Montgomery County or anywhere else. I'm not telling you not to go there, but sometimes it's nice to have those things in your backyard as well. But it's not also just development and development. We're also bringing great public facilities to this region. Hyattsville is growing tremendously, but we can't just have it be all residential. We have to be able to compensate, to give people much needed public amenities and facilities as well, which is why we've invested over $50 million just on public funding between our state and local officials into this region alone. $60 million for a new library, and we will save the saucer. So those don't worry, the saucer will be saved. But seriously, $60 million for a new library. We have a new firehouse coming. We're growing. We need new public facilities. We have a new firehouse, thanks to the county executive and the new fire chief finding the money for these new public facilities, which will cost approximately a little over $10 million. A new elementary school to alleviate the overcrowding that we're seeing in this immediate region, right down the street, the tune of, I believe it was close to $30 to $33 million. Those things, just off the top of my head, are over $50 million alone just for this region. That's not counting the AstroTurf field that we have here, the dog park down the street, all the different things that we have done within the region. So that's what I meant by that article. So Delegate Justin Ross, I hope you're proud of what it is that we've done.
Very proud.
And I hope you're relieved. But thank you all so much. Thank you so much for the Bernstein Group for investing in our community. Thank you so much. Just give them a round of applause. And I definitely want to thank my man, Scott DeCane. Scott DeCane, give him a round of applause because he was fighting hard for this dude. He was a champion for this from the very beginning, and he was racking his brain trying to figure out how it is that we can make this happen. This was really a community effort at all levels, and we're finally here. So thank you all so much. Everybody had a part in this, and this is what we're doing here in Prince George's County. This is what we're doing in Hyattsville. So thank you all. Please spread the news. Great things are happening here in Hyattsville. Thank you, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to echo what the county executive said. It truly is a great day in Prince George's County. And I want to thank Adam Bernstein. I want to thank Mayor Quintero, Councilmember Campos, Howard Beal, our county executive, and Tim Baker from Safeway. I want to go back to when I actually met Howard. Steve Proctor brought Howard Beal basically to the EDC, and he said, I want to show you a great project down Brandywine Crossing, and they took us down there, and that was when you all was with Faison, and it was a great project, really exciting. Then Steve Proctor came back and said, hey, we got something better. You know, we're going to do this again. We want to talk to you about a great project. Talk to you about a great project in Hyattsville, but you know, you've got to see the concept. You've got to buy into their vision. So he brought Howard and team in, and we actually did. It was so exciting. They talked about all the development that's actually happening around this area, which is phenomenal. But the way that it's designed, you don't know actually what's back here. So what they said was, with this mixed-use project, having Safeway as the anchor that provides that frontage off of East-West Highway, it will now show people that there's actually development happening on the backside, and it will make this development project here grow and prosper. We were so excited about that, and truly, this was a team effort working together. It was Tom Himmler out of the county executive's office who got it right away, that said, you know, we have to do this. This was one of the biggest EDI incentive funds that we did, but it actually made sense because this truly is a TOD project. It's got everything, you know, it's right off of the Green Line, it's right over next to the Prince George's Plaza. You know, it's got the rooftops, it's commercial, all of the above. It's the catalyst that's actually going to help this area to grow and thrive and grow beyond what it's doing right now. Hyattsville right now is on the cusp of an economic development explosion, and the Economic Development Corporation, we're proud to be a part of that. But I want to recognize real quick Team EDC in the County Executive's Office. We have Larry Hentz over here from EDC. David Iannucci, if you could please stand. David Iannucci went back and forth. David Iannucci went back and forth on this project. It was tireless work, really hard. And Shelley Grosswade and Don Medley are not here from FSC. But we also had Ebony Stocks from EDC, our EDI Fund Coordinator, that worked extremely hard. We have Aubrey Thaggart in the back, and Steve Proctor and the whole teams. But I just wanted to say this is a great day. I'm really excited, and this project is going to be great. Thank you all.
Thank you. We all know what the story is. There's lots of thank yous I'll have to go through. But it was funny. When I was standing out here earlier this morning, I first came to Washington about 40 years ago, and I stood in this parking lot and actually, as an electrician, worked on the building across the street. That was my first experience in PG County, though I didn't live in PG County. So fast forward a few years. I'm living in Hyattsville. I had the opportunity as an architect to work with Mike Franklin, putting in a plug for Franklin's. It was the first major development on the Route 1 corridor back in 1990. At some point, I actually met Will at a breakfast at Franklin's when I, against my better judgment, ran for city council. And Will shook my hand and told me, you know, you need soccer lights in Magruder Park, and I'm going to get you soccer. So it's been a great story working. As we have thunder, you know, Hyattsville is a sustainable community. We're branding ourselves as walkable. We're committed to good design and high quality development. we certainly, we're willing to step up and help the development community and the county when we need to get things done, and this is certainly an example of that project. I'm going to cut to thanking everybody. And we have Howard Beal and Jim Costello of Echo Realty, County Executive. Will, we're going to miss you. Okay, but you are going to do the library before you go. Yes. Okay. Okay. Gwen McCall, David Iannucci, who's now moved. Okay, Wise Man. Brad's around here somewhere. Brad Fromm. And we have all my colleagues on the City Council. We couldn't have done this, make this all happen without them coming along for the ride and seeing this as visionary, and then certainly Adam Bernstein. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So just real quickly, you know, people say delighted to be here. I think the folks who know me would say we're more relieved to be here. We used to have a store in town. We closed it a few years ago, and we're very anxious to get back and serve the community in the way that it deserves to be served. To summarize the 60-year chronology that Professor Beal shared with us, nobody else could get it done. It's not about the office or the companies. It's about the people in those companies, such as Adam Bernstein, who has been a great partner to help get this going, and Howard and Drew Gorman, and also Sharon Baker and his entire staff. That's applause from that's so we get that. So all the political folks, whether it's Larry Hance or David Iannucci or Gwen or whomever or Aubrey that we've met with over the years, mostly via Craig Buckle, who keeps us in touch with our elected governmental officials. So we're relieved to be here. We're real excited to open the store. I think it will be great. It's further evidence of Safeway's commitment to Prince George's County. We have Renee Montgomery with us here, who is building a shopping center in Upper Marlboro. They'll be anchored by Safeway and will open later this year. Then this one, which opens next year. So part of the, we share the vision of the county executive to make Prince George's a better place to live, work, shop, and I guess they'd say maybe even play, but that's a different project. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you next year at the open.
Thank you. Very quickly, we're pleased to be owners of several parcels here at University Town Center and getting involved in the last few years, including Metro 1, which we're now calling Metro Gateway, where we house WMATA and Prince George's Community College, which are now growing, which is terrific. But what this project is doing, and with Howard Beal's commitment, is creating momentum for Prince George's County and for this project. Because we still have vacancy, there's other vacancy here, but this is the kind of momentum that we need. I'll also just mention one other thing, which is for the cooperation. We work in a lot of jurisdictions, so for us to see the cooperation and the expediency that we've had to be able to get this project done is a credit to County Executive Baker and the whole team. So I think we should boast about that and keep getting things done here. And finally, to Will Campos, who said on the first day to our team, we will make this happen. This will happen. We thank you very much and look forward to it. So let's go break some ground.
On three. Okay, push it on three. 1, 2, 3. You're going to do one more time? One more time. 1, 2, 3. Is that good?
That's good for me.
You got it? All right.